I just recorded a 16-minute video. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with it. I was rambling so much and I don't think I made sense. So I'm gonna try to restart what I was saying. I recently made this realization that as somebody who's come from Lebanon to the States, I find myself feeling the need to fit in with the way people are here. And this is to put it into simple words. I don't know why I was trying to like overcomplicate what I was trying to say, but this is basically what I'm trying to say. And what I mean when I say fit in is kind of imitate the way they speak, or there's a lingo, right? It's not just the way that you speak, or it's not just your accent. It's also this lingo that like you're supposed to know what this means. I don't want to give an example because I will cringe at myself. Like I don't know how to come up with an example right away. But let me actually I could give an example. Like in America, people are very like, "Hey, how are you? Good, how are you?" Like that's just, and there's like a certain tone. But in Lebanon we don't have that, right? And that's fine, that's normal, that's how countries are. Every country has its own things, right? I think it's called like vernacular. Like I recently learned that word. Maybe that's what it is. But like in Lebanon, like it's a different way of greeting people, casually. First of all, we don't really, well, I don't know. I don't even know how to compare it to Lebanon, because Lebanon has different things. Like if you see somebody, walking past you, it's more like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you do say, "Hey, how are you?" We just don't say it in that way. Or a lot of other things, okay? There's a certain kind of politeness that people have here that you don't really find in Lebanon. People are polite in Lebanon, just not in the same way. And they're honestly not polite all the time. But I don't know, I'm sure there's a word for all of this thing that I'm describing, but I was on a run with my friends in Lebanon, and they were like, "Oh, like, how's America?" And they started like making jokes, and they were like, "I feel like everyone in America, they take a happy pill in the morning because they're happy all the time and whatever, and they sound so cheerful all the time." And it made me like kind of laugh, because like it's true. And it's easy for people from different countries to categorize other countries into like a certain way that they are. Like Americans are this way, Lebanese people are this way, whatever. But obviously, like, it's not good to generalize, and it doesn't mean that every person from that country is that way, but like it's easy for us to generalize, right? But yeah, there's a certain lingo, there's a certain way of being here. And so I realized that without noticing, I feel the need to conform to however they are. And by doing that, I'm neglecting my own culture and my own people. But I'm also realizing how hard it is to maintain my true self and my true culture in a place like this, because it feels as though, and this sounds terrible, but it feels as though this culture is superior to my culture, and that I'm expected to like fit in, and I'm expected to pretend to be like them. This sounds so much like more dramatic than what I go through on my day-to-day, but like I am basically taking what I'm living through and thinking about it from like a bigger perspective, because I genuinely think this is an issue with people and with the world and the way that the world works. Because here's the thing that I've noticed. When an American, the term American is so broad, I don't know, when we speak in Arabic, we say like ajnabi, which means like foreigner, or yeah, that's what it means, right? Yeah, foreigner. But I want to say specifically when people from like Western countries, like white Europeans or white Americans, let's say, right? We can use this example. Um, I don't know why it's like that, but when I've seen it happen in Lebanon, right? When they come to Lebanon, for example, I'm just gonna use Lebanon for this example because that's what I've seen and experienced. I don't know how it is in other countries, but when they go to Lebanon as tourists, right, or not, or they have work there, whatever, they maintain their character. Yes, they're open to getting to know the culture of Lebanon, but they maintain how they are as they are so much. And in a way, like the locals of Lebanon, the people who have lived in Lebanon all their lives, they feel this need to welcome these foreigners with open hands and be so kind to them, and like like whatever you need, like we'll give you, like like right now I'm thinking about like if like a foreigner were to enter like a falafel shop in Lebanon, like that guy who's making the sandwiches, he's gonna be like, whatever you need, like khalas, for free, like take the whole store if you want it. Like we're so, yeah, and we're nice, but we're too nice, you know, like to the point where like we're gonna like get down, like like we look up to them, almost as if there's this inferiority complex, right? I don't feel that when I'm here. I don't feel the American people praising me and like welcoming me in that way. No, they treat me just like any other person, which is perfectly fine. But it's that concept, it's that thing that maybe is wired into the culture in Lebanon. And maybe it is like that with other Arab countries, maybe, but I haven't been to Arab countries to know. But you see it on TikTok and stuff, and like people who are like from Europe or America, they go to like these Arab countries and they're like, oh, I love it here. People treat me so well. I feel like whatever, like I'm a king or queen or whatever. People treat me so well. Like you see that, and they're so happy, and they're like, But then when you see Lebanese people treat each other, it's not like that. It's really not. I mean, they're still nice to each other, but they're also shitty to each other sometimes. But anyway, we're not gonna get into that. I'm trying to explain a thought that like you know when you have a thought in your mind, but you don't really try to explain it to yourself in your mind because you know what it is. So the thought in your mind is there, but it's not in words. It's just a thought. And then putting it into words is like so hard. And I'm sure that this topic, I can write a lot about it. I can, I can go more in depth about it. But this is just like, I almost feel guilty because I'm here. And I think what really made me have this realization was going back to Lebanon in the summer and coming back here, like having that switch for the first time ever, back and forth, like made me realize a lot of things. Because I don't know, it's almost like you're switching characters, right? But I've just felt like for example, I'm gonna try to be more efficient with my words. I feel like I'm saying a lot of nonsense. When I sit in a classroom and people professors will ask something for us to talk about our experience with it. And most of the time the class is like, let's say, filled with Americans. They have like a shared experience, so they make references that only they understand within themselves, right? And then you as an outsider, or to them a foreigner, feel like your lived experience is so much different than theirs. So what you end up doing is you either don't participate in the conversation because you feel like even if though you want to, your lived experience is so different that if you were to say something, you have to explain it so much. And you have to give context, like, by the way, I'm from Lebanon, so like this is why my experience is blah 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 blah. Or the other option would be to try to conform and to play around with your experience to try to fit in to their understanding, And I tend to go for the second option a lot without noticing, like subconsciously. Like people will be talking about their high school experience. I'm like, oh my god, like yeah, like I had a similar experience, but I don't know. This also doesn't really make sense what I'm saying. I hope it does, but like, I feel comfortable when I don't have to explain all these things, right? But here's the thing. Me coming to America, I already know about it. I already know about their culture. I already know about these things, these references that they make, because of the movies. Like, growing up, I watched like mainly like American movies and series, like Disney and whatever, like mostly Disney. I'm not even gonna lie, but even on YouTube, like when I started watching YouTube at like 10 years old or 11 years old, I was watching mainly like American and British YouTube. And then Netflix, I still watch like a lot of American movies. And so coming here, I was familiar. I was familiar with how college was and all that. But when you switch it to the other way around, they're not as familiar with us at all. Like at all. In fact, their image of us is a negative one. It's worse than what's the reality, like what the reality is. Because of the movies that they've made about us. And I do believe that movies, like film in general, play such a huge role in the way that we think, because I feel like, at least to me, that's the easiest way of like obtaining like information, like just by watching instead of reading. Like, to me, I don't know, maybe some people prefer reading, but I just feel like movies, especially because they're a form of entertainment, so people just go there for entertainment. They can switch their brain off and just watch a movie. And so when there's Hollywood as the most, I mean, the biggest film industry in the world, and I think, of course, when it makes movies about Arabs, it's making an unrealistic representation or image of what Arab people are. And so when Americans are watching what Americans have made about the Arab people, they're gonna have that negative image on Arab people, right? And so when I speak about Lebanon, people are so shocked. They're like, what? You have that in Lebanon? Like, that's so cool. But I don't have that reaction to America. I'm not like, oh, like, that's what college is like? I never knew that. Like, no, I did actually know that. And not only that, but as somebody who's never lived in America and coming here, I feel like people have the expectation on me to understand everything, to know these things. But when it's the other way around, again, I keep bringing it back to like when it's the other way around, that we as Lebanese people don't have the expectation for like these Americans or Europeans to know about us, to know that like these things about us. I'm pretty sure you can ask any like American person here or a European person, like, well, maybe Europe is different because Europe is maybe geographically closer to Lebanon, but you can ask them like, like, what does a university look like in Lebanon, like a typical university or something. Like, they wouldn't know. And the thing is, it's fine. Like, we're not supposed to know about how every single country is and blah blah blah, but we're also not supposed to have a negative image about countries without really having been there. And it's like, but why is there this expectation that we have to know things as non-Americans when we're in America? And I'm not saying this to blame the people or say that the people are wrong for being this way. No, I think it's the system. It's the way that the system has wired its people. And I do think it's related to the movies. It almost feels like the West has power over the representation of the East. And whenever people from, you know, Arab countries, or I even want to say maybe people from people from third world countries come, you know, to these developed countries like America, they feel the need to conform. They feel the need to like fit in and know about these things, because they feel like they're expected to know about them, otherwise they don't want to, like, we are so afraid of being our true selves, our not knowing what the fuck America is selves, you know? We're so afraid of showing that we don't know things around here, or that we don't understand their references, that we lie. We're like, oh yeah, I know. I'm not saying that like we do this all the time, but we feel maybe cooler, or maybe we feel like we're validated when we are more American or Americanized. I don't even know, like, what like this rant, like, does that make sense? Like, am I saying something wrong? No, like, I did do a research paper about this, like, a little bit, like, kind of similar. It hits me sometimes, because I'm in a classroom and I'm like, damn, like they're talking about things, like, they don't even consider that there's somebody who might not be Christian, or like, or might not know what y'all are referring to, which is fine, like, it's okay, but just having that consciousness that there are Arabs in the world, or there are non-Americans who don't really understand these references. And I can go deeper about this, like, sometimes it's not just America, sometimes it's like references about that specific state or that specific town, and you're just sitting there, like, all these people in your classroom, they've lived in this town their whole lives, and they're making these references, and you're just sitting there like, you have no idea what's going on. And I mean, it's not such a terrible thing, like, that's the experience of an international student anywhere in any country, that's okay. But there's definitely this feeling that I have that I don't know how to explain properly, that like, and I feel embarrassed that I don't know, but why, you know? And like, why do I have to hide these parts of myself? Like, why do I need to feel the need to avoid talking about my culture, or like, and I don't know if this sounds bad or if this sounds wrong. I know that I have free will, like, I can talk about my culture as much as I want to, and I do, to the point where people maybe find it annoying. Like, I always whenever I participate in class, I'm like, I'm from Lebanon, and like I do that, and even all my friends know. And but it's always such a shocker, like, people are always like just straight up confused, or they have nothing to say to it or something. But then it's just so different the other way around, like, it shocks me, it's crazy. Like, I'm gonna stop talking now, because I feel like I'm just rambling and venting at this point. I'm not like angry at the way it is, I just sometimes I feel it in certain people, and these people, like, they don't have bad intentions, and I know that. And I'm not coming after anyone, it's like, it's not their intention, it's just the way that they've been wired by the system. So I understand it's not their fault, but my role in this whole thing is to try the best that I can to be aware of it, and to what's the word, to like stay true to myself and to where I come from, to not shy away from like talking about my lived experience that's so much different than their lived experience. So yeah, all this to say that I have to be aware of it, and I don't want to become, well, the only term I can think of right now is whitewashed, but or Americanized, but I'm sure there's a more professional term to use. I just can't come up with it at the moment. I don't feel like thinking. So I'm just gonna stop. I'm really gonna stop talking right now. Bye guys. Thank you for watching.